Most people think cartel leaders fall because of the army, because of a raid at dawn, a tip from the DEA, a helicopter circling overhead. But here's what nobody talks about. By the time any of that happens, the leader already lost. He lost months ago, maybe years ago, in a war nobody else could see. A war happening entirely inside his own head. And by the time he realizes it, it's already too late. He didn't start at the top. Nobody does. He started exactly where you'd expect. Low level, invisible, replaceable. Maybe he was a lookout at 15, watching roads, texting codes, surviving on $100 a week and the feeling that he was finally part of something. Or maybe he was a driver, crossing state lines with a truck full of watermelons and $500,000 of meth hidden underneath, stomach dropping every time headlights appeared in the mirror. What set him apart wasn't luck, it was discipline. When everyone else got sloppy, he stayed sharp. When others got high on their own supply, he stayed clean. When the guy next to him started skimming, he reported it. He was reliable. In a world where reliability is rarer than loyalty, that was everything. And the cartel rewarded exactly that. He moved up, not because he was the most violent, though he could be, not because he was the most charming, but because he was consistent, because he delivered, because when the regional boss gave him a problem, it got solved. Every promotion came with more money, more men, more territory. And with each level, something else was growing too, something he didn't notice yet. Psychologists call it invincibility bias. The brain starts to believe that survival isn't random, it's earned, that you made it this far because you're smarter, sharper, harder than everyone around you. Every close call you survived becomes evidence. I'm different, I can't be touched. And the system rewards that belief. Because in the cartel, the most dangerous men are usually the most confident ones, right up until they're not. By the time he reaches regional level, the life looks incredible from the outside. $200,000 a month, properties in multiple states, a wife and kids who believe he's in import-export, bodyguards, armored cars, restaurants, car washes, construction companies, all legitimate on paper. He has more power than most men will ever know. But here's what the money doesn't show you. Power at this level expands faster than trust can keep up with. When you controlled 10 men, you knew each one personally. You knew who drank too much, who had a sick mother, who would stand firm and who would crack. Now you control hundreds, and most of them you've never met. Your inner circle gets smaller, not because you pushed people out, but because you have to. Every person who gets close is a potential leak. Every friendship is a potential weapon someone can use against you. So you tighten the circle, and then you tighten it again. The information starts getting filtered too. When you're a cell leader, bad news reaches you immediately. You need it to survive. But once you have real power, the men beneath you are afraid to bring you bad news. So they soften it, they delay it, they tell you what you want to hear and bury the rest. You think you have total awareness of your operation. You don't. You have a curated version of it. And then there's the weight of decisions. Every call you make now has consequences measured in lives in millions of dollars. A wrong move doesn't just cost you money, it costs you men, territory, reputation, and possibly your own life. Sleep becomes a casualty. 4 hours a night if you're lucky, and never deep sleep. Always half awake, always listening. From the outside, it looks like he finally won. From the inside, the pressure is just beginning. This is the part that doesn't make it into the narco corridos. This is what happens behind the gold-plated pistol and the armored convoy. It starts small. A meeting where someone avoids eye contact. A shipment that arrives slightly short. A message that takes 20 minutes longer than it should to get a response. In a normal life, you'd forget these things by morning. In this life, they never leave you. Psychologists call this hypervigilance, the brain locked in permanent threat detection mode. It evolved to keep humans alive in dangerous environments, short bursts of extreme alertness to survive predators, attacks, sudden danger. But it was never designed to run continuously for years. When hypervigilance becomes your baseline, it starts to break things. You begin testing your own people, giving different information to different men to see which version leaks, sending someone on an errand that was never real just to see if they go somewhere they shouldn't. Your head of security knows your schedule. Does he know it too well? Your accountant handles the laundering. Is he taking a cut you haven't found yet? Your right-hand man has been with you for a decade. A decade is a long time, long enough to build loyalty somewhere else. Researchers who study high-powered criminal organizations describe something they call betrayal expectancy. It's the belief, developed through experience and survival instinct, that betrayal isn't a possibility, it's an inevitability. A matter of when, not if. And once the brain locks onto that belief, it starts seeing betrayal everywhere. The locations change constantly now. A different safe house every 3 days, new phones, messengers instead of calls, codes within codes. Communication collapses inward. The circle of people who know the full picture shrinks to almost nothing. And here's the devastating irony. The more isolated you become to protect yourself, the more blind you become to actual threats. Because the real dangers, the DEA informant, the lieutenant quietly building his own relationships with rivals, the lieutenant who's decided the organization runs better without you, those threats don't announce themselves. They move in the silence you created. Decision-making deteriorates too, not obviously, not all at once. But under sustained stress, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for long-term planning and rational judgment, starts to lose the fight against the amygdala, the threat response center, the part that says, act now, don't wait, be sure later. You execute 2 men based on suspicion alone. Maybe they were guilty, maybe they weren't. You can't afford to find out. Better to be wrong about the innocent than unprepared for the traitor. By this stage, many cartel leaders aren't running the organization anymore. They're running from their own fear. This is where most people expect a dramatic moment. A raid, helicopters, soldiers pouring over the walls. And sometimes, yes, that's how it ends. But more often, the fall doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens after months of invisible cracks finally reaching the surface at the same time. The fatigue made him miss something, a detail in a financial report that should have flagged an informant, a pattern in police behavior that meant someone was talking, a meeting that was just slightly too convenient. He would have caught it 18 months ago, but 18 months of 4-hour nights and constant paranoia had narrowed his thinking. He was no longer operating with his full mind. He was operating with the exhausted reactive part, the part that fights fires instead of prevents them. And paranoia, by this point, had created a specific kind of blind spot. Because when you suspect everyone, you can no longer act clearly on specific intelligence. The real threat gets lost in the noise of 100 imagined threats. His inner circle, the one he'd spent years protecting and pruning, had someone in it. Maybe they'd been turned 6 months ago, maybe a year, approached carefully, given time to build trust with a handler, positioned perfectly. He never saw it because the paranoia that should have protected him had made him pattern match on the wrong signals. Or maybe it wasn't betrayal. Maybe it was simpler than that. An overconfident move, the kind you make when you start believing your own mythology. A communication slip when the protocols got too complicated and a tired man cut a corner. An operational mistake by someone 2 levels below him that created a thread someone on the outside knew how to pull. It rarely happens in one dramatic moment. It happens after months, sometimes years of invisible cracks. And when it does, The machine barely flinches. Here's what the news cycle misses. The arrest happens, the photos go out, the headlines run for a week. And then, someone steps up. A nephew, a lieutenant, a rival within the organization who had been building alliances quietly for 2 years, waiting for exactly this moment. The product keeps moving. The supply chain, which was never fully dependent on one man's knowledge, continues. The bribed officials are still bribed. The tunnels still exist. The distributors still have contacts. There's a power vacuum, yes, and power vacuums in these organizations are violent. Internal conflict, temporary instability, men dying to settle the question of succession in a world with no courts and no HR department. But it stabilizes. It always stabilizes, because the cartel was never a man. It was a system, a set of incentive structures, supply chains, territorial arrangements, and corrupted institutions that evolved over decades to survive exactly this kind of disruption. The system was never built to protect the leader. It was built to survive without him. And somewhere in a city right now, a 15-year-old is sitting outside a convenience store, watching the road, thinking that this is just the beginning, that if he's smart enough, tough enough, careful enough, he can be the one who doesn't fall. He doesn't know yet what the position actually costs. He doesn't know that the very qualities that will take him to the top, the vigilance, the suspicion, the refusal to trust, are the same qualities that will, in the end, destroy him. Not the army, not a rival, himself. Power didn't destroy him. The pressure of holding it did.